Penske brings us an SEC Game of the Week preview. Tennessee and Alabama renewing their rivalry after that all-timer last year. It was a game that featured 101 points and one goalpost thrown in the Tennessee River. Vols hitting a 40-yard field goal as time expired to beat Bama 52-49, ending a 15-year losing streak in the series. This season's matchup, 3:30 Eastern, Saturday on CBS. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jenny Dell on the call from Tuscaloosa, where the Tide have already lost against a team at home wearing a different shade of orange. It is time for Stats That Matter, presented by Penske. And after winning 34 straight against SEC East opponents, Alabama's lost 2 of its last 3, including that Tennessee game last year and the national championship game against Georgia before that. Let's bring in Brady Quinn for a preview. Look, it's fun going back and watching those highlights, but these teams totally different than they were a season ago. Tennessee's offense not nearly as explosive. Why is that?
Well, I mean, you have a different quarterback, right? Hendon Hooker was extremely experienced. I think he understood how to operate within the system. And also you have the speed and the playmakers on the outside. Joe Milton's the starting quarterback, and they're still trying to kind of find some of those big plays downfield. Last year, Tennessee led the country in 30-plus yard pass plays. This year, they're 93rd. And so to your point, clearly the offensive production hasn't been there. They're averaging about 100 less yards per game, about 2 touchdowns less per game. It's been the defense that's really saved them right now with the way that group has played. And that's why when I look at this matchup, they can really get after it. They got a couple guys up front in James Pierce, Tyler Barham, who can absolutely get after opposing quarterbacks. And we've also seen Alabama's offensive line struggle at times. So I do think it's actually going to be the Tennessee defense that keeps them in this game. Barron, Beasley as well at the linebacker position. He's good coming off the edge, as well as James Pierce Jr.
Yeah, they only have 1 loss this season to Florida, a game they wish they could have back, obviously. But last week, beating Texas A&M, only had 100 yards passing. But to your point about the defense much improved. They can keep them in this game if they can contain Jalen Milroe, who did not play in that South Florida game. Alabama giving a couple of backups opportunities. Milroe comes back, and he's been a better quarterback since then. What's been the change?
I think it's been a couple of things, but in particular, it's been Bama, utilizing the downfield passing game. When you look at them over the course of the last 4 SEC games, since he didn't play versus South Florida, that's really what they've put their finger on. It's keep trying to protect him up, utilizing their speed, a lot of downfield shots, the go routes, the seams, the deep post, the deep crossing routes. And he's got the ability to get it there with a strong arm, but also teams are kind of afraid at times to rush him because they don't want him to get outside the pocket and allow that athleticism to take place. So they almost want to kind of force him to play within the pocket. Well, if that's the case, offensive coordinator Tommy Rees is perfectly fine saying, come try to defend some of our speed down the field. Guys like Jermaine Burton, Isaiah Bond, and Jalen Hale, all these guys have extreme speed and can hurt you in the passing game. And that's really what's been the biggest difference, I think, from the beginning of the season, where you saw Alabama struggling to figure out what this offense was about. And now kind of, I want to say, a little bit more flourishing under Jalen Milroe, at least with this sort of style and approach.
Alabama, obviously a home favorite. They are laying 8.5. The total is sitting there close to 50, 48.5, but nothing like last season when we saw over 100 points combined. What's your lean on this one?
My lean is to take the points in Tennessee, but Alabama wins. And I think if this number was a little lower, like around 7, I'd probably be laying the points here with Alabama. The reality is that I think that defensive line for Tennessee and guys like James Pierce Jr. and Tyler Barron, the way they can rush, and as much of the struggles as we've seen from the Alabama offensive line, that concerns me. It worries me. I don't know that Tennessee has to bring pressure to get pressure. And so I think the Tennessee defense keeps them in this game, but Alabama wins.
All right, it's the 3rd Saturday in October. That means Tennessee and Alabama, and we have it on CBS. That is one of our 2 games on CBS this Saturday. The first of our doubleheader, unbeaten number 22 Air Force at Navy, 12 o'clock Eastern time. Our Amanda Guerra on the sidelines for that one before the 3:30 Eastern time kick between Bama and Tennessee.